Welcome to the acclaimed podcast, The Deep Dive, featuring your esteemed hosts, Andy Monitor and Drew Dinzik, powered by BetSperts.
Welcome to The Deep Dive. As you can see if you're watching us on YouTube, today's Bengals preview will be from on location. Andy has taken up a residency. You have a residency ongoing, just started today in Las Vegas. You'll be there for next handful of days. And I'm up at the UCLA campus doing some work shit. Let's talk about some Cincinnati Bengals who amazingly kept the band together. The big three on offense staying together to carry on their dominance of statistical supremacy in the NFL. But there are definitely some worries about how the defense has been rostered, although we do have a meaningful change in the defensive coordinator that could be impactful. I think ultimately the Cincinnati Bengals will be a fun conversation here because the strengths and the entertainment value that they're going to bring to the NFL this year are for real. But the holes are also pretty obvious and could be consequential. So, let's get down to business. What do you say?
Let's get down to brass tacks. Yes, this is a third of four. We'll do the Ravens tomorrow, brought to you by Circa Survivor. I can, smell the Circa casino floor from here. We'll talk Survivor a little later. As always, subscribe. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so. Hit the thumbs up button. Do anything nice. Retweet it on Twitter. Anything nice would be nice. It's just going to bring you better luck and better karma for the season. So you should do
karma is important.
It is super important. And yeah, this is a weird team when you think about it because of all the, oh my God, this defense is so bad. And oh my God, this offensive line, they're just never going to address this. They've been to the Super Bowl. They've been to the AFC Championship game another time. They made the playoffs, 3 out of the last 4 or 5 years. Joe Burrow's been hurt 4 different times. He's probably played in 16% of his preseason / camp that he could have at this point in his career. And they still have had quite a bit of success. And it kind of brings me back to a little glib, snide remark you made yesterday when I was trying to say something nice about the Steelers. And I said, they've done a really nice job of drafting defensive players over the years. And Drew's like, yep, that's how you build a championship team. And it's, this is the inverse, where it's like, hey, what if we just never did anything with the defense? And we had, hot, nasty speed. You have the best, if you could put Justin Jefferson right there. And he plays with a much shittier quarterback for the, most of his career. But for my money, Jamar's the best wide receiver. You have the best wide receiver. I don't think the majority of people thought that T. Higgins would be back. It felt like that was a foregone conclusion. That
I already had him outfitted for a Chargers jersey.
Yeah, it's they can't pay everybody. I'm like, if they do that, what are they going to do? They're going to be able to maybe bring in some low to mid-tier defensive free agents, and that's it. Well, that's what happened. So it's an interesting case study. And what if we were just the most fun team to watch? Because God, I had this, I had this in the notes. I got to find this too from last year. It was more of the same, and it wasn't a record, but it tied a record. They lost 6 games where they scored 25 points or more. No one's only, I guess that's the record. Somebody else had done that before. And the other record was 2 losses where they scored 38 points or more.
Oh my goodness.
That is also a record. It's like I took my skate off and tried to stab somebody. It's not a good record. It is wild. Those games were, what it was. It was the 6th worst defense on DVA. They gave up over 25 points per game. 4th worst run defense, and honestly, they didn't win a lot of their close games early either. They did the their standard slow. Hey, we're gonna also get off to a slow start and be behind the 8 ball and have to make up ground. And in the end, it wasn't enough there.
I will say also it's worth noting that Joe Burrow definitely deserves flowers. He's the only quarterback from the AFC and the mighty AFC that has gone to the Super Bowl in the Pat Mahomes era. I still don't know how he beat Pat Mahomes that day at Arrowhead. I was dying to get closure on that. I'll never get there.
What's your price on before it's all said and done and he hangs it up?
Yeah. Burrow gets the title?
He gets an MVP.
Oh, that's like probably minus 130-ish.
I was going to say, I'm at like 60%, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of where
never know.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's going to have like 3 years yet where it's like he's in the conversation, and it kind of just depends what other people do that year.
Yeah. And I would, Super Bowl is probably more like plus 150-ish. And MVP is minus 150-ish. Anyway, the interesting thing that I have to add context-wise to his season last year, he, of course, won the Triple Crown of passing. It was volume. It had to be because they were, again, behind so often. But when we came into the season, there was cloak and dagger stuff that his arm, which he had been recovering from, was not right yet. Do you remember this? You remember people kind of whispering about that he wasn't 100% yet?
What was the thing where do you remember where he couldn't hold a ball that one time on the sideline?
It was like the wrist ligaments, wrist sheath or whatever that he had surgery on that ended his season. I mean, he won comeback player of the year last year. And I think honestly, like the comeback didn't really start in earnest until like week 7. So pretty amazing. And pretty amazing that you could win all of the superlatives. You could scoop all of the Triple Crown of just counting stats in the year where you started the year with huge question marks from a lot of people about whether you were going to even be able to play the position. So I think there is still some lingering questions in my mind. If I have to hold anything against Burrow, it's probably I'm still a little nervous that he's a fragile quarterback, and I think health is a little bit of a bigger question mark for him than a lot of the other guys we're talking about. Certainly a bigger question mark than Allen and Mahomes. Slightly bigger question mark than Lamar. And I think, for those reasons, it's enough to not really want to get involved with the upside of this team really in any way, just because, there are huge questions about how the defense is going to complement the offense this year. But even more than that, if the offensive line takes a step back and, does that change the way that they're able to run their offense?
From what?
I think last year was probably one of the more successful pass blocking years that they've put together since Burrow's been there.
So, here's the thing. He's never had a top 20 offensive line. Every metric you want to rank him by for his career, it's been like 28th, 23rd, 29th, 26th. Like it still was pretty bad. And, I can't remember who was, I think it was the PFF guys were talking about his time to throw. And this is stuff you and I said about him from day one, when it was like, oh, this guy just kind of has it. You can't describe it, but like he has it, and he's a quick study. He quickly picked up the speed of the NFL, and he had to. And I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like throws where he had less than 2 seconds to throw the ball, or throws under, and basically all the categories of like under 2.5, under 2. It was just like, hey, he's the best. And when you have that, maybe, again, it's the meme with who was the right tackle?
Penny Sewell.
Yeah, it was Penny Sewell or Jamar Chase.
Protector of the year, Penny Sewell.
Yeah, at worst, it's crazy how that meme went around before they were even drafted, and at worst, they're the second best player at their position, like
in the league. Each guy.
Yeah, you could apparently it was a true Sophie's choice, and
no wrong choice.
They've made it work, they've made it work with him getting the ball out quick. He reads defenses well. He reacts to blitz as well. He's able to find those areas, because when you blitz, it's like when you see, the Vikings defense, when they've had struggles over the last couple of years because of Flores's nutty blitzing. When a team can expose that, it looks bad. And when there's a quarterback who can read where guys are coming from and you're not disguising it properly, he's just going to find people, because then he has the mismatch. He just has no time to do it. As long as he's able to find the mismatch immediately, he's going to burn you. And that's how they've put up big numbers. And, you say it's hard to ride the upside, But at the same time, I have a hard time looking at a big downside too, just because like, oh, what if they score 35 though? Like,
Yeah, right.
it's just like maybe they'll just win half their games anyway.
Yeah. Vince is right. The Falcon, there was a wrong choice. The Falcons took Kyle Pitts of both of them. Also worth noting, the Jets took Zach Wilson over both of them, and the Niners took Trey Lance over both of them. Is that the right year? What I'm remembering? It went Lawrence,
Sounds
Wilson, Lance, and then Pitts, Chase, Sewell. Best two players of the draft were the 5th and the 6th. Is that right?
2020.
That's amazing.
So 2020 was Burrow.
It was 2021 though that Sewell and Chase went 5-6.
Yes, we went T-Law, Zach Wilson to the Jets, Trey Lance in the wild ass trade, like a month before too. It felt like Kyle Pitts, then Jamar Chase, then Jalen Waddle, and Jalen Waddle's been a productive member of society. Penny Sewell,
right.
But this is a nasty stretch. Penny Sewell, J.C. Horn, Patrick Surtain II, and Devonta Smith all in a row.
Wow.
Micah Parsons at 12, Rashawn Slater at 13.
The redraft of this year would be wild. It would be wild.
If we'd have done it before the 4th of July, you had Najee Harris in there. Christian Darrisaw.
Wow. Hey,
Turner.
Darrisaw's a great tackle. Jesus Christ. Hey, just to entertain me for a second here, I don't want to totally derail the Bengals podcast, but like Trevor Lawrence goes what in this draft? 6th?
Yeah.
In the redraft here?
You're taking Chase, Surtain, Penny Sewell,
Parsons.
Taking Micah Parsons, Slater.
For sure. Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's weird because you're throwing up positional value and positional need when you're doing a funny redraft like that. But yeah, Nico Collins was in this draft. You know who else was in this draft that I don't know that you can absolutely say you take him before Trevor Lawrence, but in the 4th round, the Detroit Lions picked a receiver from USC named Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is
holy shit
better than any other receiver in this draft, not named Jamar Chase. Hafungo was a 5th rounder in this one.
Man, wow! What a
Trey Smith was a 6th rounder. The guard.
You could basically have an all-pro team except for your quarterback out of this draft.
I mean, Mac Jones was taken.
Okay. All right. Let's go back to kind of Bengals talk here. So very fascinated to see what happens if the offensive line takes a small step backwards for what it's worth, much like Pat Mahomes, unless it's really, really bad matchup or a really bad spot, or the offensive line is even more injured beyond just not being super talented. It does feel like Burrow succeeds in spite of it. So you can definitely throw a little shade, cast a little shade on him if you want. On the basis of just the fact that his receiver duo is so absolutely unbelievable. It's I don't know what else to say. Like Burrow's a top 4 quarterback. He's not a top 1 as the weird kind of zeitgeist in the NFL was determined to try to push Burrow or Mahomes, who's the better quarterback conversation this year, this week, which I didn't really get. He's right there in that tier with Allen and Jackson and Pat Mahomes, from what I can tell you. And it just kind of mattered. It depends on what kind of seeding they get and what kind of play you get out of the defense as to whether this is championship aspirations this year or any year for this squad, as long as he's healthy.
Yeah, and I think the upside would be, we haven't said his name, but you mentioned and implied it. Al Golden coming back. He has coached here before. Those are some pretty damn good defenses at Notre Dame over the past few years. And if you want to say anything outside of just like they stop people from moving the ball, then that's what makes them a good defense. They forced a ton of turnovers, like an obscene amount. And I think that is yes, Notre Dame. And I think that is coachable. I think that's something you can work on. There is upside. Obviously, the negatives are multiple holdouts, multiple injuries, and then the free agents C class. And Drew is, if you're listening in the podcast form, Drew is still here. He's just fine. He hasn't gone anywhere. If you're watching on YouTube, be quiet.
Did I get sniped?
Back. I don't know. You just like clipped out for some reason there. Either way,
Sniper got me.
It's hard. I love the quotes but everything is just kind of like, hey, we're gonna do this better. We're gonna install a championship culture, and we're empowering players to make the calls on the field. Like, it's just stuff you say to reporters. That's not something I can take and be like, I'm upgrading the defense.
Yeah, right.
I'm optimistic that it will be better, but between Hendrickson and the rookie, having them hold out has been a pain in the ass. You've had some guys miss some time. You've had some injuries in the defensive backfield. And, like I said, it was an underwhelming free agents haul for some of the spots you needed to fill in. So it's hard to get overly excited about that. I think if you want to be bullish on this team, you can be bullish on, I believe it's a new offensive line coach too.
I will kind of say that I'm fine being a little bit bullish on the defense personally. I don't think this is going to be a bottom 5 unit. And I think the kind of moving on from Big Lou was correct. He apparently was like a 1-speed pitch guy, and he needed elite safety play to be able to execute that pitch. And the pitch was apparently stop Mahomes in the early 2020s. And now I've got nothing if I don't have that.
3 years ago, they had the best, probably the best safety duo.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And so,
they don't anymore.
Yeah, if you're not going to go get the best safety duo to give Big Lou the pieces he needs to be able to do the one thing he can do, then you might as well just try something else. And so, nice. I thought the golden get was very solid for them. I thought that was a really nice move. I also thought that letting some of the older players kind of matriculate out was the right move as well. Sam Hubbard gone, but he obviously looked to me at least like he needed to call it. Jermaine Pratt, letting him walk. He landed somewhere else. Where? The Raiders? I thought that was an atrocious signing. I think Jermaine Pratt has very, very low ceiling at this stage in his career. So getting youth in to backfill, even if it's second, third, fourth, fifth round talent, probably going to be, the lateral move, if not, some upside if Golden can coach him up. So I thought it was fine.
Yeah, they brought in or drafted rather. God, why can't I think of this guy's name right now? We're less prepared than usual for this one with the traveling for both of us. So
at least you have internet.
Apologies to the Bengals, but Demetrius Knight Jr. in the second round, he's playing like he's gonna have to. You need, he's probably gonna be your weak side linebacker, and it's needed. You drafted Shamar Stewart in the first round because you need help up front. Essentially, you had Trey Hendrickson, and you brought in TJ Slayton, which could work out, I suppose. That's been a hard defense to. I believe he came over from Green Bay, right? The Green Bay defense had been hard to kind of evaluate over the last couple of years, and obviously that took a step forward too with a new coordinator too. So that's probably a plus move. But other than that, you're relying on 2 rookies, one who didn't get part of camp to play, to help out your one really good player in Trey Hendrickson, who's not playing right now. And then some people have been banged up on the back end of a secondary that's, I don't think there's an upside where you can say like that's going to be an average secondary at any point.
Okay.
And yeah, Geno Stone, who knows if he starts the season. It's still like a week. They're calling it week to week. So that's another tough blow too, because you've struggled with keeping your safeties on the field or keeping them in the city, as it were, over the last couple of years. So
yeah.
I could see a bump, but again, it's kind of like the thing we talk about with the Patriots. Yeah, they improved all these spots, and it's going to be a bump, but they started so low. What's a bump look like?
Yeah.
I'm kind of with you. I don't know that this will be some bottom 5 defense.
Yeah,
but the bump gets them to what, like 18th? Like
yeah,
it can
exactly.
Be slightly below average kind of a defense.
Yeah. I got to tell you though, man, like there's a lot of bad defenses in the NFL.
Yeah. Well,
and there's a lot of defenses that are doing exactly what Cincinnati is doing, which is like, let's run out some day 2, day 3 starters. and we'll count on them to do a lot. Good luck. Like, it definitely feels like we're in for a little bit of a, a little bit of an offensive season. And I'm not just saying that because of the week 1 preseason stuff, but there's whiffs of it all over the place. But there's a bunch of bad. I mean, we finished last year. We were like, is any defense good? And now this is kind of carried over, and there's even more holes, and there's even less obvious blue chip talent. Last year's draft was a bad defensive draft, period. The only guys that were good ended up on the Rams. 2 years ago's was not great. You had to go back to 2021 to really find like a good defensive draft. And I think that players coming through offensively are staying longer in college and are a little bit more well prepared to start early on. And I think that's actually probably what we're going to see a lot of early on in this calendar year. And Cincinnati Bengals are going to be a prime example of that. Now, I don't have any other thoughts on 2024 for them.
No,
I was sad because I think I had some long shot prices on them to make the playoffs, and ultimately seeing the Steelers in and the Bengals out was very disappointing because, I think the Broncos deserved a spot at the table. That was fine. I didn't think the Steelers did, and I would have much rather seen the likes of Cincinnati take on a Bills or a Ravens team in the playoffs. Yeah. They would have made one of those games competitive instead of both of them unwatchable.
That's how they should do the playoffs. They should do it like they do the All-Star game, where it's just a fan vote for the 7 teams.
Oh,
like, sorry. It would be very swung towards bigger markets, so that'd be a terrible idea. But no, I can't agree with you there. There's always teams like that where it's like, I don't want to watch this team in the postseason. Luckily, we're going to be around for one game. But yeah, it was a little bit of a shame we didn't get to see this offense in the postseason run. God, I'm still looking at this 2021 draft.
Let's look at the schedule.
Well, real quick too, and off-season stuff. Re-signed some guys. Nothing major, obviously, outside of the one that might happen here. We talked about TJ Slayton up front on the defensive line, signed from the Packers. He is a good run stopper. It'll help with that. That was a problem, but everything was a problem on the defense. It was a very bad defense last year. You got your new DJ Reader, so that might work out. Cool. Oren Burks is on the squad, right? Yeah, you got Oren Burks. So it looks like he's deeper on the depth chart anyway than the Knight, the rookie I mentioned anyway. It's kind of it. There wasn't a whole lot else to talk about outside of the draft. Shamar Stewart, an explosive guy. He could be very good. Demetrius Knight, we mentioned. Dylan Fairchild from Georgia, 3rd-round offensive guard. He is starting because you need guards. You have 2 spots that you need to fill, and he's going to take one of them. Another linebacker from Clemson in the 4th round, good coverage guy. He's going to be depth with Barrett Carter, and honestly, that's it. Kind of just some 2nd and 3rd team depth guys at offensive line, running back, and then you lost Kappa, you lost Rankins.
Yep.
Did you mention Pratt?
Yep. I think that's addition by subtraction personally, but what do I know?
Yeah. And then Hendrickson, we will yet to see. I made my number I'm just assuming.
Yeah, he gets the deal. I think he gets the deal.
Yeah. It's hard to pay everybody. You know what the stupidest fucking thing I see too? Just as all the Sportico stuff comes out about how the Dallas Cowboys were the highest valued NFL team, and it was $84 billion, and they're worth all the that's hyper. It wasn't that much, but it was a lot. And every quote tweet is like, and they can't pay Micah. Like, they have money. That's not how this works. Like, there's still a salary cap, and there's still they have to be beholden to the other 31 owners too, to not just pull a Watson and make a deal that is a problem for other people.
Of the stories that I'm interested in and paying close attention to, Hendrickson getting re-signed is low on the list. One of the reasons is that it doesn't move the needle much for me with the defense overall, him being out there or not. I think it's still a bottom, but it's a bottom half unit regardless. It's just a matter of how far down is it. I think ultimately, I just think it's going to happen. So I think he'll be out there. So.
Yeah, I made my number.
Not really worth sweating over. Also, he's, by the way, is pretty up. He's up there age-wise. So if you're expecting a repeat performance of what we saw from him last year, where he was the sack leader and the number 2 in the DPOY conversation, I wouldn't hold your breath.
But if you're gonna, he's 30, and if you're gonna try to get paid,
Now, well, you
doing
got
it
to do
after
now.
doing it after you lead the league in sacks is always a good time. Yeah, people forget he played with the Saints for what?
Yeah,
4 years before he came over here, even.
yeah, he's a grizzled vet on this team. Period. Yeah.
I don't have a lot else to say about the offseason. We mentioned Lou Anarumo was fired. He was hired by the Colts, bringing Al Golden. It's going to be a similar scheme, but hopefully they do work on things like tackling players with the ball and working off blocks, forcing some turnovers, stopping the opponents on third down. Those would be some of the improvements I would make from last year. And they brought in a couple of younger players. Maybe they don't start as slow this week.
Okay. Let's look at this good. It is a.
Do I have to? I didn't even. I have to do this.
That's okay.
Yeah, you gave it to me
a little bit. If you are ultimately entering Circus Survivor, or if you're entering Circa Millions, do not forget that you can sign up in Nevada, anywhere in Nevada. Sparks, Nevada, if you happen to find yourself in the biggest little city in the world.
I think they have a place in Laughlin you can sign up, man.
For sure. You sign up in Nevada, but you can play from anywhere. You don't have to be in Nevada. You can enter your picks via proxy. We do it every year. We'll do it this year. And if you're annoyed by the Survivor discussion, just wait, because we're going to be into the bitter end this year. So you'll hear it from us every week.
I didn't do well in Golf Survivor, so I have to win my money back somehow in NFL.
I dig it.
So schedule. It's funny too. You have red patches and blue patches. It's streaky. If you get out,
can you share it?
It's on the screen.
It is.
You can't see it?
No.
Can other people not? Let me know on YouTube. Can you not see this? I can see it.
Oh, interesting.
Well, that's not the best view. Really, Drew can't see it. Well, somebody on YouTube will have to let me know if they can't.
I have my Excel sheet, so I'm just going to look at that while you're talking.
Okay. You start at Cleveland. You're on the road, but it's a team you should beat. Fernando says we can see it, so glad they can see it. I'm not sure what Drew's deal is. He's remote. Are you on a phone?
Yeah.
That gets tricky.
I'm in the StreamYard app. I can't see.
The StreamYard app on phone is a little tricky. So starting at Cleveland versus Jacks.
Great start.
Games you can and should win. Yeah, Jacksonville. You might have a bad defense, but Jacksonville's is not fixed either.
Much less fixed.
Yeah, that's a team you can just. That's one of those like, what if we score 30? What if we score 35? That's kind of the same thing. Like Jacksonville's gonna have to put up a lot of points in that game.
Damn, what's that total? Do you happen to have the
I don't know.
current numbers though?
I could look. I have Bookmaker up.
God, I feel like mine. Let me look. Let me see what I have. I have every game projected for the season. Now I got to know what my
week 2
projected total is for that.
Oh, this is regular season week 1. I only have week 1 up. I don't know who has everything.
Oh, I don't know. DraftKings probably. Never mind. Let's carry on.
It gets hard then. You play the NFC North just like everybody else, and you play the 3 tough teams from the NFC North in a row, wrapped around a spot where you travel to altitude and play at Denver. If Detroit's defense doesn't keep getting hurt, and actually Green Bay's defense, as we talked about, that's another one that could continue to take a step forward. That is some strength on strength there. You got the Flores defense. You got who's having the time of his life, Drew?
Vance Joseph
defense. You got the Detroit, cannot remember their new DC name, defense, the leftovers from Aaron Glenn's.
Fighting Hutchinson's.
Hafley. Green Bay there. At Green Bay, at Denver, at Minnesota versus Detroit.
Awesome stretch.
Not, even if you do start 2-0, it could still be
great games.
It could still be pinned as a quote unquote slow start if you go 2-4 there, you know?
No question.
And then Pittsburgh at home, at least short week, but you get Pittsburgh there. Believe, and then Jets, Chicago, both at home. So 3 straight home games heading into the bye. That's kind of a nice stretch. Even if, Chicago is some of these games they're not gimmies, but those are easier opponents. They're all at home. So it's streaky. It's hey, here's a couple easy ones. Here's 4 fucking meat grinders. And then here's 3 that you can absolutely win at home.
I got to tell you, man, the schedule makes me think that the Bengals are going to compete for the AFC North.
It could, because honestly, outside of the, that stretch, and then you have Baltimore, Buffalo, Baltimore, which just sucks balls. You can
That's
win.
awesome, though.
You can win every other game. And at that point, 10 wins, 11 wins, 12 wins, what's it take? Because it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough division to win.
I mean, this is a double-digit win team, I think, if Burrow's healthy. Having a very tough time seeing otherwise, considering the schedule. Because, not the other good teams, some of them have games that they should win, but they're against sort of the middle class of the NFL. All of your games that you should win are against, the lower class of the NFL. And so you should win even if things don't go right for you, offensive line, defense, I think.
Well, let's look at all these teams that you're favored over. And how does somebody beat you, Drew, if you're this team? They have a elite offense that can keep up with yours. Yeah. Or, to a lesser extent, they have a clamp down defense or strength on strength. But Cleveland does not have an elite offense. Jacksonville's, I'll give them, you have a quarterback at least, but it's not some top 10 offense for sure. Pittsburgh has Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf. The Jets are trotting out Justin Field. The Bears are very much unknown right now. Pittsburgh again. New England, which, we have some pieces there, but it's still a work in progress. Miami is an abject disaster right now. Arizona on the come up, but still Cleveland. None of those are top 10 offenses. Maybe none of those at the end of the year, there's a decent chance none of those are top 15 rated offenses. And those are the games that, go out there and put up your, what are we going to average this year? 28, 30 points? Go put up your 30 points. You can win every one of those games just on the back of your offense. And then you have the 7 tough ones. Go 2-5, baby.
Yeah,
and
seriously.
You have a good shot at this division.
I think that's it. I think that's how this breaks. I really do.
And I think
really it's those you need to split the Baltimore games.
I was just going to say 2-5, but one of them has to be a Baltimore win.
Yeah, you have to split the Baltimore games, and then you have to beat Denver, and any other one is gravy, I think. It's just tough for me to see because, the teams that you're coin flippy, even, or even near a field goal with, they don't have like you said, they don't have the right recipe for how they beat you. The teams that are going to beat Cincinnati in that coin flippy space are the ones that are efficient on offense, have great pass protection so that they can generate a lead, put you on your heels, and then get after you with a good pass rush. And I'm not seeing that with Pittsburgh or New England or Miami or Arizona or Chicago. That's not the way that those teams are composed. So I think you're going to get all those wins. If you beat Denver and want to win one of those Baltimore games, then all of a sudden you're knocking on 12.
We didn't mention this in the 2024 recap, but that loss to start the year to New England was embarrassing and bad.
Ooh, that was nasty.
It was Burrow's worst game. It was worst game of the season, maybe worst game ever. They lost 16-10. Other than that, you lost to Kansas City at Kansas City, very close game. You lost to a Washington team that by that time we realized this is going to be something. This is a guy. You lost to Baltimore in overtime. That was one of the games where you scored 38.
Elite quarterbacks so far. Everything other than New England. Elite quarterback. You
lost to Philadelphia, which even if you don't think Jalen Hurts belongs in the conversation, that elite offense squad as a whole certainly does. You lost to Baltimore again, by a point. You lost to Baltimore by a combined 4 points in 2 games. You lost to Los Angeles in the back-to-back week where you had to go play the Chargers after that Baltimore loss. And then off the bye, you had a big, this was the what if somebody can just torture defense game, where at that point, I believe we were getting the moon ball was starting to work from Wilson, and it was a 44. Yeah, Wilson threw for 414 yards on your defense. If you have somebody who can hit the deep ball, I guess he still can be beat even when it's a middling offense. So that was the final loss of the season, and they won their next 5 games. It just wasn't enough.
Okay. All right. Well, I think using these guys for Survivor is going to be a tricky proposition because they're very tempting to use them early in the season. And the fact that they're actually getting Burrow preseason reps in game and speed environments and with Chase and Higgins on the field like that, I think that actually is going to pay dividends as far as fast start goes and just making sure you don't, trip on your dick in weeks 1 and week 2. So don't hate using them week 1, but I don't love using, having a divisional matchup as your week 1 survivor hopes pinned to a divisional matchup. I think realistically, it's week 2. Week 2 versus Jacksonville feels like a really, really, really solid spot to fire some Bengals early. And if you don't use them there, then I think you're saving them for, something in that 7, 8, 9 stretch, probably the Jets game.
Yeah, the Jets game stuck out to me just because it's at home in the stretch of a home where you have that there. Otherwise, the Jacksonville one, you could possibly save it, like we said. Even though that game's at Miami late in the season, who knows what that team looks like at that point? If you're sitting on this team late, Miami, Arizona, and even this could be your closer. That Cleveland game. Who knows who's starting at quarterback? Shedeur Sanders banged up.
Right? I wouldn't save him for that just in case Cincinnati, for some impossible reason, has like their playoff opens. Like if their playoff seed is locked, then maybe Burrow gets the day off.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't save them.
At that point, hopefully have somebody else if you did something like that.
Use them as long as Burrow's.
That would stink.
Use him as long as Burrow has his fastball, which is going to be the first 9 weeks of the season for sure, I think. You don't want him tempt fate with an injury. All right. Let's rate these guys.
And then just real quick situational. They played Green Bay off I believe that's Green Bay off the bye.
It is, yeah. Not great.
Their bye isn't neutered. Sometimes that happens. They do get to play. It's a tough one up at Acrisure, but they do get rest ahead of their Pittsburgh road game. And then other than that, not much situationally for time and travel. It's just besides that Denver game. That is in the midst of a back-to-back where you go to U.S. Bank, whatever bank Minnesota is, and then up to Denver. Yep. That's a tough stretch. Monday night, at night, that fan base is reinvigorated.
It's a fun game.
That's a very fun game. So, ratings, Drew.
Yeah, let's talk. So my number 4 quarterback is pretty gaudy, but it's not in the same rare air as Mahomes, Jackson, Allen. In general, I think there's some efficiency problems as you look at the data for Burrow, and I think maybe there's a world where Burrow's reputation is sort of a little bit influenced by the fact that he's a big game hunter, and you think of his performances being so outstanding in the
regular season games
that matter, or the playoff games that matter, and over the balance of the year, if you're coming up with a neutral game rating, it's not as high as the rest of the guys. So I'm only at 7.5 here, and this puts him kind of in the discussion with the Hurtses, the Purdys, the Daniels of the world, not the Mahomes, Allens, the Jacksons.
Yeah, I'll still have Jackson higher, but I went 7.75. Okay. And part of it was what I said already about him, where he's doing the thing where the big problem is he doesn't have time because the offensive line can't pass pro, but he's still making it work. And you can attribute some of that to have you've had some elite receivers. You've had pretty good tight ends. You honestly had some good pass catching running backs. You still do. So some of that factors in, but it's still a high number because he's been very good at quick decision making and making it work in the situation he's in. And
Cool.
he's a stud.
I agree. What about skill group?
Skill group's a 7. It's high.
7.5.
Yeah, it depends, I guess, how you feel about the tight end room and how you feel about Chase Brown. I think Chase Brown is poised to have a pretty damn good year, especially
I think they're all pretty solidly complementary to your top 2 targets.
Yeah, it's hard to have a low number when it's Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, but Yoshivas, I don't know if they like him for some reason. He's been good, but the usage seems weird sometimes. You do have, honestly, some pretty okay depth there. Burton, and you got a couple decent backup tight ends as well. So, Samaj Perine, they retained him.
They signed Noah Fant, right?
Oh, yes, they did sign Noah Fant. So you have Noah Fant, Drew Sample, Mike Gesicki, and then
fine room.
Samaj Perine. Was he gone? Did he return? Is that what the deal is? Or he was just a re-signing. He was a free agent, but they did decide to bring him back. And there's talk of using a lot of him in the passing game as well. So it's pretty good. Maybe I'm actually a little lower there.
Okay, so I'm 7.5, and I thought I might have been a little low. So we'll revisit that as we go through the season. Offensive line for me, I may be a little high. I'm at 4.5, but I will admit I don't have a good read on these guards at all. And if they suck, I'm gonna have my finger on the trigger to lower this number. What do you think?
I was at 2.5.
Oh wow!
Clearly bottom 5 to start. It's Ted Karras. You're an okay center. Like that's where I'm at, and then the rest is kind of a mess. And it's pretty lowly ranked guys. Even Orlando Brown, who's been good at times. These guys get banged up. Mims hasn't lived up to, at least draft capital at this point. It's kind of a battle for the right guard at this point between Ford and Lucas Patrick. And I don't think either of those guys is a plus. And then you're starting a rookie, a 3rd-round rookie at left guard. So it's just as bad as it ever was. I don't think this is improving. It's just you have a little less continuity now, so it could be pretty bad at the guards. If neither of the tackles takes a step forward from last year, how they played, it's going to be bad on one side, because both guards are very suspect. So if you don't at least have a tackle that's playing at league average level right now, you have a whole side of the line that's a mess. And again,
so you think 2.5 is more fair?
Yeah.
I'll drop mine a bit. I'm going to drop mine to 3.5. Let's see.
I don't know. Just every number I looked, this was a flat 2 last year at the end of the year for me. I gave him a little credit because Karras is pretty good. And if you remember correctly, yes, as the chat is asking, that was his uncle who punched the horse in Blazing Saddles.
How about that? Okay, so this is then my 9th best offense. It's probably about right. Same for you, right? That feels low.
Ninth is right. Yeah, it's tough to see that number because again, we said we glazed Joe Burrow for a long time, and we said you have the best wide receiver, but it's still an issue. Do you remember that year? I think it was the year they went to the Super Bowl. I believe he set a record for sacks taken. And sacks taken in the playoffs, which is a weird record because to get that record, you got to keep advancing probably.
Didn't he get sacked? He got sacked 9 times by the Titans or something.
I think it was 8 or 9 times by the Titans in that game. It was just obscene how many times he was getting hit. And they just kept winning games. It was very hard to.
He's got a short memory, man. He's not afraid of the rush.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, he doesn't. He does not seem to care, which is great.
All right.
So
run stop is an upgrade over last year for me with the way that this is rostered. I'm going to go 3.8 for run stop.
I'm at a 3.
I mostly want to see what Logan Wilson looks like because he was a good player before they banned the hip drop, and that kind of changed the way he played, I thought, last year. And he wasn't very good. And if he kind of has a bounce back year this year, I'm not going to be surprised. So that's one to watch to see. But I like what they've done to try to improve the run stop here. So I'm going to go with 3.8 to start with. Pass rush for me is a 5, and that is with Trey Hendrickson. I'm not sure who else is generating pressure for you. Shamar Stewart has a lot to prove for me to be like worried about him as an offensive coordinator, worried about him disrupting things because of his production woes at Texas A&M were so pronounced. So 5 pass rush for me.
4.5. I still the numbers just didn't jive. It's crazy with having the sack leader and you don't even have an average pass rush.
Yeah.
It can go up pretty quickly if we get anything out of the rookie for sure. And
Okay.
God, who's that? Yeah, Murphy. I don't have
That Clemson kid they
much
drafted
rate.
a million years ago who hasn't done a damn thing.
Yeah, like Miles Murphy. Yeah, that was a high draft pick. He was a first round draft pick 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Not seeing a lot out of him. We had Joseph Asai. It hasn't been great outside of Hendrickson.
Okay. Coverage for me, I'm at 3.7.
3.5. Pretty close.
Okay.
I'm lower on all three. I guess I'm colder on this defense. We were close on the offense, but yeah, it's another spot where, what have you done to improve anything? Some of your best guys as far as coverage grades are linebackers. You're not seeing a ton out of it, especially with Geno Stone hurt. Dax Hill, he's back, but he's been banged up in camp already. Like if they lose a piece or two, it could get pretty bad. Oren Burks is like, I don't even know if they're going to be using him in a similar fashion as we saw in Philadelphia. He was a good coverage piece there, but I'm not sure how much he plays in this defense based on the linebackers that they have right now. So your other good, your best secondary piece coverage wise corner is who? I mean, who do you have? DJ Turner, I suppose.
Yeah, DJ Turner. All right. 24th best defense for me overall, with scope to go down surely, but scope to go up. But I just there's not enough good defenses in the middle class for me to say that this is for sure a bottom 5. So I'm fine at 24. For intangibles, I give Zach Taylor and co a 5.5. That's a big downgrade from where I was with this group last year. I still am holding out a little bit of a memory of him coaching up the backup quarterback after Burrow got hurt 2 years ago. Was it Browning? I think it was Browning.
Yeah, Browning.
His ability to kind of
was
pivot
like good
and coach him up was notable. And maybe that guy still exists, but whatever the case is, I'm not as warm on Taylor. So 5.5 for me for intangibles.
Yeah, I just stuck a flat 5. He was kind of middle of the pack for aggressiveness. I think he's a fine coach. I don't know.
He's still coaching.
Yeah, he's still coaching. That's good. Hey, no, excuse me. He was 6th most aggressive.
Okay.
Kind of middle of the pack for my my very subjective how I feel about second half adjustments and in-game stuff, which is pretty hard to put numbers to.
Yeah.
I just kind of put pen to paper and see where we're at.
What do we think? Are we getting a bounce back here from the kicker this year?
It's a 5. We're going with a 5.
Okay.
And yeah, I do think so. McPherson has shown he's a good enough kicker. They were top. They were top at coverage as well. Kickoff and punt coverage. They were very good at. They were pretty good at kickoff return, average yardage, and then I think DVOA for special teams. They were somewhere around the 10 to 15 range. So average with some upside on special teams. I put a 5.
Okay. Well,
I have
in total that makes
expected wins.
Okay. What was your power number?
Power number is 1.69, making them the 13th best team in the league.
You are warmer. You're warmer than me. I'm 1.64. Yeah. 11th best team though. I would take them over Denver by a hair. What about you?
I'll have to incorporate all my divisions. AFC West.
Tell me if you would take them over Denver and Minnesota. I'm curious.
Nope, not Denver.
Okay.
Minnesota. No, Minnesota had over a 2.
Wow.
Because I had
How about,
I had the defense so high.
How about the Rams?
It's all very close though. Like there's a definite second class, and it's tight. Like everybody between 1.5 and 3 is just a mess.
Clustered right there, right around 1.5 too. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, the Rams I had as a 1.91. So, on a neutral, it's still a pick 'em essentially. These are very small margins.
Yes. Would you believe
above 2?
Andy, without looking, would you guess we are over or under market on the Bengals?
Under?
We are over.
We're over.
We're
Are we over on everybody? Are we going to be projecting like 300 total wins?
No. My average power number right now is 0.1. The Bengals market power rating is 1.39. They're the 12th highest team in the land. So yeah, I mean we're right there basically, off by a quarter point. Not gonna find lots of edges in the futures market with that info. So what do we do?
Futures betting for this team. I don't know. And again, in the chat, the chat has been awesome, guys. Whenever somebody, and granted, what's your favorite thing to do when you're talking to other bettors? Tell them about a bet you placed, especially one that improved in number. But I love the chat has been chiming in at the end of these. But like, I bet this rookie of the year, and I bet this. I mean, even if you got props and stuff, let us know. Those are interesting. I've heard some interesting ones. Somebody was talking about they have win totals, and they've had these for years, but win totals in division. Those are fun for some of these teams too, where there's some uneven divisions where you can pay a little juice. And I don't think those are the worst bets. So if you have anything, let us know. I don't foresee getting too excited about anything.
So here's the problem. I'm not going to bet them to win the AFC North, even though we talked about it being a realistic possibility, because my margin between Baltimore and Cincinnati is pretty large, which means getting one of those 2 wins is probably not happening as far as I could tell you. So they're coming in as a wild card, but they could be a wild card spoiler. They could be your top wild card team in the AFC for sure. They could be your number 1 wild card team. And
the problem with that, there's a lot of times they play Baltimore a third time.
Well, in the divisional round. Yeah.
No, I mean the 2-7. There's
how often? I don't know that they're getting in at 7. I think 5th or 6th is way more likely. 5th is probably the most likely landing spot I would project them, because I think they're going to get more wins than Denver, who's your other most likely contender for 5-6. I think.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be above Denver. I mean, it's going to come down to that Cincy Denver game. Who's the 5? Who's the 6? Which is what it comes down to.
Chargers are in that equation.
You know what we're going to hope for? We're going to hope for Bills 1, Balto 2, KC 3, Houston probably going to be 4th. Even
someone has to win the South.
Someone has to win the South. Denver 5th, Cincy 6th, and then we get our KC Cincinnati wild card round playoff game. That's the Sunday nighter, right? For sure,
so.
Right? There's no way a playoff game has more juice than Cincinnati at KC. Is there?
No, that's a banger. No matter what, it could be week 3. I think that's a banger. Yeah, that's a fun game. AFC playoffs are going to be fun because there's so many of those teams that are, what if they take a little bit of a step forward? Oh my God, the Patriots are good. Oh, the Chargers are going to win 11 games. But the Broncos, everybody was on them, but they still did it. Nobody mushed them. They're still very, very good.
Hmm.
Even somebody like the Jags, just new management's in town, and we've always had some pieces.
Somebody's got to win the South. You said it.
The Jags have always felt like man, I understand this roster's incomplete, but should they be this bad? They should be a little better, and they could take a step forward. We'll talk. Are we doing NFC or AFC next week?
NFC South next week.
NFC South will end with the
AFC South, the best
AFC
of them all.
South.
All right. So I got to ask you then, if they are a wild card team, which feels very likely considering the gap between them and Baltimore, does it make sense at all to take any type of future for them to win the AFC? I think highly enough of Burrow to say that it's not crazy that he does take this team on a run, puts them on his back, and is just, is able to produce enough magic as the QB in the playoffs to go back to the Super Bowl with them. I think in that world, if you were going to have to go through KC and then Baltimore and then Buffalo, the rollover of those three prices is going to be so much better than you're going to ever get betting Cincinnati in the AFC market, that it's just worth sitting on your hands and waiting for that to manifest. Is that right? Even two of those teams on the road.
Yeah.
It's going to get you huge money line rollover just for those two. So no reason to take them in the futures market.
All right. Houston, Pittsburgh, Denver, Cleveland, I guess, is in there. But, who are you really worried about from the contenders to have, the defense just stood up that day and Burrow had a bad day? It feels like, it's not like Baltimore's defense is bad. It's certainly very good, but it's not elite. Houston's is very good, probably elite, but who knows? Defense isn't sticky. I don't know that there's just this powerhouse defense that I'm worried, unless it is Denver, and that's just oh God, that sucked, because we bet Denver to win the division. There's a world where this wild card game is at Denver, playing them a second time, and that defense is just as good as last year, and everything goes to shit because you can't do it.
So I think back to the Denver game from last year and the fact that the Bengals scored in that game, despite the fact that Surtain effectively defended Chase really well, makes me think you're beating them over the head with Higgins. You're still scoring that game. I'm a little more. If I'm Cincy, I'm a little more, let's try to avoid Houston in the playoffs, because Houston's pass rush is so fucking fast. They could, if they get off to a little bit of an efficient start, there's a world where Houston, Cincinnati looks an awful lot like Houston, LA from last year, where it's Houston's a 3-point dog at home in that game. Cincinnati's expected to go in there and just beat them up with their offense, but the pass rush is so violent that they can't really get their offense off the ground. And then, Houston gets a little success. You can't stop Nico Collins. And then all of a sudden it's the ball rolling downhill and you're like, wow, Burrow has 4 turnovers. How'd that happen? There's definitely a world where if I'm Cincy, I guess I'm just projecting. If Houston gets in as the 4 and Cincy's the 5, I'm probably expecting a market where Cincy's a 3-point favorite in that game, and I'm probably back in Houston.
Yeah, and maybe that's where I'm at a little bit of an impasse, because it was one game. I still have a ton of respect, and I think that defense kept improving. Denver and Houston would be kind of weird roadblocks defensively, and then obviously Baltimore, Buffalo, Kansas City are huge roadblocks where it's just like, hey, we scored 38 again.
Problem is you're
golfing.
You're going to be getting points against the elite teams. You're going to be laying points against everyone else, I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah, from a betting standpoint, I'm saying I don't know if I want to go out and take a Cincinnati to win the AFC price right now.
Okay. Yeah. Burrow to win MVP.
Can they get the 1 seed? Feels like it's going to be tough as a wild card. I think I think the roster has to improve before he gets his flowers in that department.
Agreed. All right. Well, I guess
could he win? Here's the one, and I think Chase might screw it up because he would win it.
Oh, Roy.
But Burrow having offensive player of the year.
Oh, sorry, I meant OPOY. Yeah, okay.
If he stays healthy and this offense is just, nasty.
I don't know.
I mean, but it would have to be 5,000 yards, 45 touchdowns. Like, you would have to.
Yeah, he's setting records at that point. Yeah.
And then you're mad because you didn't bet him to win MVP. And because it's not, the 1 seed is not a prereq, but it helps a lot.
You got to have 13-ish wins.
Yeah.
Which means you got to beat the really good teams on your schedule this year, which I don't know that it's happening more than once or twice. All right. Well, let's put a ball on this. I got a boogie. I got 10 minutes to get to my meeting, and that was a great pod. Good luck, Bengals.
I thought so. Go who day? Is it who day or who dat?
Who dat?
Who day? No, who day?
Who dat is the Saints. Who day is the Bengals.
I always mix those up.
They're both terrible.
My wife is texting me. I've been gone for 6 hours, and my wife may be buying fainting goats. Like, I'm gonna come home to goats on the
goats
farm.
are fun.
I know.
You get to come up with awesome names.
I'm like, fine. I'm like, if you get them, you get them. Figure it out. See you guys. I'm gonna play the music, even though Drew is short on time here because he does have a meeting. He has a work meeting. I gotta find it.
That's the record scratch. All I heard was the record scratch.
Goats, and then she texts me, "Where are you located?" LOL, wrong person. Which means she meant to text the other people, like that have the goats. She has a Subaru Forester. How's she gonna haul goats? Maybe they deliver.
Yeah, Uber Eats.
It's just Uber goats.